friends, it's Jess with Happy Flow Yoga, here to guide you through a gentle restorative practice. Today we have some props, typical studio props, a bolster, a couple of blocks, but if you don't have those at home, it's totally cool. We can use other things like pillows, blankets, bed pillows. If you have one of those fancy decorative pillows that you never really know what to do with other than throw it off your bed, use that. It's going to be great because it's stiff. Like I like to start every class, we're going to go with a special card, an affirmation card for today's practice. So today I'm feeling like this is a good one. I laugh freely and loudly. I am proud of the space I take up. So let's take up some space on your mat. Time to get comfy and cozy. Just so you know, before we get comfy cozy, if you want to have access to the wall to do legs up the wall at the end of this practice, you might want to scoot your mat over to one of those areas. If not, we can find a way to get the legs up above the heart at the end of the practice. No worries, you'll be just as comfortable. So let's begin on our backs. Option to start here, just directly lying on your mat, on your towel, on your carpet, on your floor. Or if you know that your body likes to have a little extra cushion on that lower back, you can take a blanket, a rolled up blanket, a pillow, and just place it underneath those knees. Maybe you want to have a blanket underneath your head too. And find yourself in a comfortable position on your back. You can shimmy those shoulder blades under, lift the legs. Allow yourself to wiggle until you find yourself in a completely comfortable position. And if you want to close your eyes, if you feel safe to do so. If you have an eye mask, you can place that eye mask over your eyes. And if you're feeling called to today, go ahead and bring the hands to the belly, finding the connection with the breath, or one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. And here, just begin to notice your breath. And when we notice our breath, we are simply observing, leaving all judgment behind. As we begin to follow the breath as it travels in through the nostrils, as it finds its way down through the throat and into the lungs, filling up the belly like you're filling up a balloon. And as that full breath releases, you feel the belly fall, the chest relaxes, and notice the warmth of the breath as it makes its way out through the nostrils. Continue following your breath as it travels through your body. And as you're noticing the breath, begin to take inventory of how your body feels today. Again, leaving all judgment behind, but just noticing what it is we're working with for this practice, for this day. Noticing any areas that feel really good. Also noticing any areas that might need extra love and attention. Continue following your breath at your own pace here. Not trying to change too much, but just following the breath as it fills, as it exits. And then noticing how your body is rooting into your mat, to your towel, and to your blanket. And then begin to bring your awareness now to the sounds in the room. Maybe you're lucky to have found a nice and quiet room with no distractions. Maybe you begin to bring your awareness to the sounds outside of the room. Outside of the building. Continue to bring your awareness to the sounds beyond. Just becoming aware of all that's around you and all that's within you. And then gently begin to bring your awareness of sound back to your own breath. We're going to gently begin to deepen our inhales and lengthen our exhales. So if you can, and if it feels good, begin to breathe in through the nose, counting to 4. You'll hold for a moment at the top. And exhale through the nose, counting to 4 again. If breathing in and out to a count of 4 does not feel good, you can adjust that breath to whatever feels good for your body today. Just trying to focus on equal inhales to exhales. Wherever you are with this breath, finish your last round. Coming back to a natural breath, begin to notice how your body feels here. Perhaps you notice a change. Perhaps you feel more relaxed. Perhaps you feel exactly the same as when you lie down, and that is completely okay. When you're ready, gently begin to invite a little bit of movement to your body, taking your time, starting with the feet and the hands, inviting a bend to the knees. You could push that pillow or blanket away as you bring the knees into the chest and give yourself just a little bit of a hug, keeping the head down to the ground for now. Feeling that lower back connect with the floor. You could begin to rock from side to side or up and down the spine if that feels good. And then when you're ready, you can begin to make your way up to find your comfortable seat. Once we've all meet in our comfortable seat, take a few shoulder rolls here, rolling them back as big or as small as you'd like, switching directions as you roll forward. Maybe drop the ear from shoulder to shoulder, noticing how the neck feels. Coming back to center. We're going to set up for our first restorative pose. It's going to be a reclined twist. So you might want to have a pillow to your side, maybe a blanket, a couple of pillows, depending on how your body's feeling today. Once you get into a pose, if you need to adjust or grab more props or remove props, this is your practice. So feel comfortable doing whatever's going to support your body in this pose. We're going to come back onto our backs. Legs are extended out. And then this time, bring just your right knee in towards your chest, reaching around the shin, maybe behind the thigh if that feels better. Giving a little bit of compression to that lower abdominal area. And then on your next inhale, sort of lift that right foot, and you're going to take your left hand, crossing it over the outside of your right knee as you gently begin to guide it over towards your left side body. The goal here is not to get the right knee all the way down to the mat, but instead to keep the shoulder blades rooted to the mat. So for me today, this looks like I'm going to need some extra props to bring the earth a little bit closer to my body to help me feel supported. Yeah, that's it. Finding the shoulder blades rooting to the mat. If having one knee crossed over your body does not feel good for your lower back, you can always come back onto your spine, bringing both knees up, dropping them over to the left side. Option to have the left hand rest on the knees, or finding arms to a T or cactus arms, noticing how your shoulders and your chest feel today. We're going to hold this pose for a couple of minutes. So find yourself in a comfortable and supported position. If you'd like, you can close your eyes. If you want a little bit more of a rotation, bring the gaze over the right shoulder. If that doesn't feel good for your neck, you can always bring the gaze back up to center. Remember to breathe in and out through the nose, which helps to slow our breath, which then helps to calm our nervous system. If your mind begins to wander, gently guide it back to your breath. Once again, noticing your inhales and your exhales. And then together, let's take a nice full breath in through the nose and release out through the mouth. Bringing the knees back into center. You can give yourself a bit of a hug here, squeezing the knees in towards the chest. And then when you're ready, extend those legs out. Give them a little bit of a shake. You can readjust the hips and your back. And then this time, bring the left knee in towards the chest, either reaching around that left shin or behind the left thigh. Just squeezing into the side body here for a moment. And then you can grab those props. We should have done this before. Bring them over to the other side. You might want to use them on this side. But remember, our bodies are not symmetrical, so what might have felt good on one side might not necessarily feel good on this side. When you're ready, begin to guide that left knee over towards the right side of your body, keeping the shoulder blades rooted down onto the mat. Remember, if one knee crossing over doesn't feel good, bring both knees up and over to the side body, stacking them one on another, And then finding your comfortable arm variation. And if you would like a little bit more of a rotation in the neck, bring the gaze over the left shoulder. Begin to take a full breath in through the nose and sigh it out through the mouth. Bringing the gaze back to center, followed by the knees. Give yourself another hug as you reach those knees in towards the chest, this time lifting the head towards the knees and creating a little ball. And then release back down to the mat. Taking your time here, noticing how your body feels. You might want to bring your feet out to the width of your mat, dropping your knees in towards each other. Or you can keep the feet out wide, dropping the knees from side to side for a gentle windshield wiper move. And then when you're ready, let's meet up in our comfortable seat. And now from here, we're going to go into somewhat of a forward fold. You'll want to have a pillow, maybe a folded blanket, depending on how you feel. This pose will help us release some lower back tension. It will also help to relieve, if you have menstrual cramps or digestive issues, we put a little bit of pressure on the lower abdominal. I'm also going to take a blanket and roll it up to place underneath the tops of my feet to release any uncomfortable pressure from my ankles. You can also place a blanket underneath your forehead if that feels good. So with the pillow lined up to where your abdominal is going to lay down, begin to shimmy yourself down onto your mat, onto your blanket, resting your forehead on your hands. Find a nice neutral neck. If you would like to place one ear down, if that feels good for your neck stretch, I'll let you know when it's a good time to switch your neck. If you know that lying down on your belly just does not feel good for you, find your way onto your back. Take your pillow or your blanket, resting it across the abdominal area, and use your arms as a little bit of pressure in that same space. Whichever variation you choose, just remember to breathe into that belly, really pressing into your prop of choice, helping to massage into that space, but also if you're on your belly down, it helps to really relieve any lower back tension. So if you sit a lot, you drive a lot, Notice how this feels for you. If at any point you feel that you want to adjust or readjust, feel free. Again, this is your practice. I'm just here to guide you through it. If you have one ear down, now is a good time to switch ears. And together, let's take our full breath in through the nose and audibly exhale through the mouth. If you're on your belly, bring those hands underneath the shoulders to press your chest up, removing any blankets underneath the feet as you press back for a child's pose. If you're on your back, you might want to just bring those knees into your chest. And then begin to press your way up in whatever variation you're in, finding your way back once to your seat. Allow yourself any movement that feels good after whichever variation you just took. And then from here, we're going to set up for a chest opening pose. So you'll take a blanket, any blanket will do, and just roll it up to as big of a tube, as a roll, as you would like. This is going to go in between the shoulder blades, across the shoulder blades in between. Again, if you want to have a blanket a pillow underneath your knees to release some of that pressure, you can do so. Option to have your eye mask or a blanket or a towel if you want to lay it over your eyes. And you're going to recline down into a gentle chest opener, releasing your head down to the mat. If it feels like it's a long drop, you can take a blanket, place it underneath your head, allowing the chest to expand. Arms can find a T position, cactus arms. Perhaps it feels good to have the arms up and over the head to really stretch out the chest and the shoulders. And then begin to bring your awareness back to the breath, feeling it fill all of those spaces within the chest, the collarbones, and the belly. Feeling the ribs begin to expand. Letting your body feel heavy as you settle into your props. Feeling yourself completely supported as you allow your body to begin to drape as gravity starts to do some of the work here for you. Have about another minute or so in this pose, so if you want to readjust your arm variations, or if you'd like to move that rolled up blanket just a little bit lower to your mid back to stretch a little bit more, you can do so. And then begin to bring the breath in through the nose and let go through the mouth. You begin to bring a little bit of bend to the knees as you rock over to one side. Being mindful of how your back feels here, press into the mat, lifting your body up, removing your props to the side for just a moment. And if it feels good, you can find yourself in a comfortable seat, dropping your hands to the knees, and do a few seated cat-cows as you round the back and drop the chin towards the chest. Inhale, pressing the belly and chest out, gently lifting the gaze. Exhale, rounding the back and dropping the chin. And move through at your own pace, as many rounds as it feels good for you, or any other organic movement that your body is calling for. All right, and from here we are going to go into a supported bridge pose. So we have a few prop options. You can use a pillow, a folded pillow if you need something a little bit sturdier. You can use your rolled blanket. If you have a bolster, you can use a bolster or a block. Either way, you are going to find your way onto your back once more. Soles of the feet flat on the mat, knees bent. You're going to press into the soles of the feet to lift the hips. Peel those hips off of the mat and slide your prop of choice underneath the lower back into the sacrum so that your hips are slightly lifted. Feel free to adjust it as many times as you need, especially if you are using props that are something that you're not too familiar with. You want to keep the gaze up towards the ceiling, up towards the sky, so that we don't injure the neck. And then you should feel a nice release in the front of the hips, in the front of the pelvis, and in the lower back. If you feel any pinching or pain, give yourself permission to readjust. You can find a different prop if that's going to be better for you. And then leg options. Here you can keep the knees straight up towards the sky, feet out wide as you drop the knees in towards each other. Or you can explore what it feels like to extend the legs, reaching them out, as long as it doesn't feel like it's putting too much pressure in your lower back. We're going to hold here for a couple of minutes. You can place your eye mask over the eyes if that feels good, a blanket, a towel, finding a comfortable arm variation for yourself here. I like to connect with my hip bones. And then begin to bring that breath once again back in through the nose and out through the nose. Oftentimes, the hardest part about a restorative practice is allowing yourself to feel like you're doing nothing without judgment. Allow yourself to just be in the pose. Give yourself permission to acknowledge all of the thoughts that go through your mind, but also giving yourself permission to let them go, even if it's just for a few moments. And let's bring the breath in through the nose. Release through the mouth. Bring the knees back up towards the ceiling, feet flat on the mat. As you press into the feet to lift your hips, remove the props underneath you. Place them to the side as you gently lower back down to the mat, keeping the knees bent for a second, and allow your spine this time to neutralize. And then once you feel good, you know that your back feels okay being flat once more, you can extend the legs out in front of you or bring those knees in towards your chest. Taking your time here, rocking from side to side, or finding a happy baby. If you want to extend the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, reaching for the outsides of the feet, for the ankles, calves, or behind the thighs, allowing those knees to drop towards the side body. And then gently pressing yourself back up to find your comfortable seat. As we make our way into our final pose, this could be your Shavasana, having your legs up the wall or up your props. If you want to go straight into Shavasana, that's completely up to you. However you want to seal your practice in today. So if you have a few pillows, you can stack them up. I like to do this before bed if I'm having a hard time fall asleep. I know it looks really high, but wait till my legs get on there. You can take a blanket, press it under, or place it underneath your head, bringing your legs up on top of your pillow tower, releasing down onto your mat, to your blanket. You just want to have the legs above the heart. If you want to do legs up the wall, I do recommend, because it's going to be more of a dramatic incline, have a blanket underneath your hips so that the hips are slightly elevated. Bringing your hip up to the wall, reclining onto your forearms, lifting the legs up, shimmying however you need to find yourself comfortable. Find your arm variation here, what's going to feel good. If you're going to do legs up the wall, you do have the option to keep the legs straight. You can go for a wide V. You can find a wall squat or butterfly legs at the wall. It's completely up to you, and you're not stuck in one position. So however you want to move through this pose, feel free to do so. Feel your body heavy with relaxation as you settle into your version. Begin to notice once more your breath as it travels through your body. Bring your awareness to the sounds in the room, to your thoughts. Give yourself permission to let go of those thoughts or to any distracting sounds, bringing your awareness once again to your breath. Bringing your awareness in. Being proud of the space that you take up on your mat. Your mat is your safe space. It is your sanctuary. It is your place to heal, to find your peace. if you'd like to stay here for a little bit longer, feel free to do so. Otherwise, you could begin to bring a little bit of awareness back to your body and back to your space. Bringing your awareness to your breath as you start to gently wake up. Taking your time to find your way back to your seat, whatever that might look like for you. And if you're ready, we can meet in our comfortable seat, resting the hands on the knees, palms facing down for grounding, palms facing up for receiving. You can bring your hands together at heart center. I truly want to take this time to thank you for showing up on your mat, allowing me to guide you through your practice. I miss you all so much, and I cannot wait to see you in person. The light in me honors the light in each one of you. Namaste.